morning, everyone. Good morning. Hi, my name is Megan Rivers. I am an anchor and reporter at WBAL TV 11 News here in Baltimore. Relatively new to the area, so I'm very excited and honored to be here with you all this morning. And when I say new, I think I've worked there for maybe about 7 weeks, okay? So I'm coming from just down the street in DC, so really happy to be here with you all today. It's going to be exciting and very informational and educational experience we're going to have here today. It's presented by Bank of America Money Moves Financial Summit. Will offer resources and networking opportunities centered around businesses, partnerships, real estate, and so much more. So today we will hear from financial experts who will explore various ways to build and maintain generational wealth. And we know that's all very important to all of us right now, and especially through multiple streams of income, sound investments, and planning. But let's not forget the women's and men's basketball tournament that is underway right now. That championship game will be played today. So if you haven't already purchased those tickets, you might want to do so if you plan to go to the game. You can visit www.baltimore.org/CIAA to grab your tickets. But before we get to the panel discussions, the podcast, and all the interviews that will happen today, and some of the other fun things, we want to make sure that we introduce a few of our special guests. So joining me on the stage right now will be some people who were instrumental in making today's summit possible. Introducing Janet Curry, President and Greater Maryland Market Executive for the Local Markets Organization of Bank of America. We truly appreciate Bank of America today for leading support with this discussion. We're also going to have Lester Davis, Vice President and Chief of Staff and the CEO of Care First, as well as Ramsey Harris, Senior Vice President and Greater Maryland Marketing Manager of Community Development, Banking, and Corporate Responsibility for PNC.
Thank you, Megan. Am I on? All right, good morning. Okay, so I know we're not full, the house is not full, but we're gonna need more energy. Y'all ready? You ready for today? Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, so much better. Again, I am Janet Curry, and I have the honor of serving as the Bank of America Greater Maryland President. And on behalf of our roughly 1,800 local employees, we welcome you to this summit today. Obviously, as a bank, we know how important finances are, and we know how important information is. And so we thank you for coming out today to invest time in yourself, invest in your knowledge, get that information, lean in, share, learn, and it will be an exciting day. You're going to hear from so many experts today. And again, Bank of America's commitment to financial wellness is just a part of why we are supporting this event today. And our commitment to HBCUs is part of why we are so pleased to support the CIAA tournament. So again, welcome to the summit today. Enjoy, lean in, and now I'm going to let you hear from some of my partners.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Janet. Just want to give Janet a shout out and note of thanks as the co-chair for fundraising for the tournament. Janet has been instrumental in raising $1.3 million for scholarships for young people. So please, let's give Janet a hand. So thank you, Janet. My name is Lester Davis. I'm the Vice President and Chief of Staff to the CEO at Care First. And you guys are going to hear a lot of numbers today. It's the Money Moves, Money Matters Summit, so numbers are going to be thrown out at you. I want to leave you with one number that at Care First, Blue Cross Blue Shield, we're the largest health insurer in the Mid-Atlantic region, cover more than 3.5 million people. And we know that 80% of your health, my health, the health of your family, relatives, is circumstantial and environmental. So that means that beyond just genetics, beyond treatment that you may receive from a doctor, those things are important, makes up that 20%, but 80% of what's going to affect our health has to do with environmental and circumstantial. So at Care First, we get involved in a number of things that from the outset may seem odd for a health insurance payer to be involved in. That's why we advocate for comprehensive transportation, economic inclusion and development. Those things we know are important to building strong and healthy communities. And so if we can do that, it's good corporate citizenship, but it's also just good to the bottom line. So we want to make sure that we're showing up for communities and doing things that are going to be impactful. So I just want to thank you guys. I want to thank Al Hutchinson and Zach McDaniels, who without their support and help, none of this would be possible. And want to thank you all for showing up. And we'll turn it over to my good friend.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Come on, we got to liven up this morning. Come on, let's make some moves, some money moves. Good morning. Thank you, Janet and Lester. On behalf of PNC, my name is Ramsey Harris. I'm the Senior Vice President and Community Development Banking Market Executive for the Greater Maryland, Greater Baltimore region. On behalf of our Regional President, Laura Gamble, who sends her regards, and all of our colleagues at PNC, we are just delighted to support the CIAA tournament. Our brand purpose and promise at PNC is to leverage our resources to make a positive difference in our communities, to empower all to move forward financially. So essentially, we're all about helping our communities, our families, our brothers and sisters make money moves. And so today we're just excited about the information and the impartation and the inspiration that you all will receive throughout the day with the panelists and the seminars that will go forward. And I am so delighted to know that this is a summit that has been put together to empower our communities by way of home ownership and entrepreneurship, which we know leads to building generational wealth. Indeed, closing the racial wealth gap. And at PNC, my team and I were committed to joining forces with many of you in this room to make a long-lasting impact in our city and throughout our communities that will benefit generations to come. And essentially, as I said before, help our people to make money moves that will last many lifetimes. So thank you again for the honor of being here, to the local host committee, to Zach McDaniels and Angelica Butcher and all of the folks that work very tirelessly to put this great summit and all the festivities throughout the week together. We salute you, and we're honored to be a part of this. We too are very proud to support all three of the HBCUs in what we call the Greater Maryland region, as well as the other HBUs in what we call the Greater Washington, D.C. region. And so I won't tell you what my favorite HBCU is because I don't want to get in trouble. But again, thank you all. God bless you. And let's have a great Money Move Summit this morning. Thank you.
Well, now I want to know, what is your favorite HBCU?
Morgan State University.
Okay, well, mine is Claflin University because that's where I graduated from. Okay, there, and that's perfect. So Howard John, go ahead and come on to the stage, right? He's going to be one of our first speakers here today. And as he comes to the stage, I also want to make sure you guys are aware that Pixel Trust is here all day offering free professional headshots. So if you follow that little room back over there, you see the sign with the yellow arrow? You can go back there and get your headshot taken, and they'll email it to you so you get to smile real pretty. As CEO and founder, correct? Of Black Meta Agency Corporation, which specializes in workforce development solutions in fintech careers, and with more than 18 years of workforce development experience, we know no one knows better is better suited to facilitate this morning's discussion about identifying resources and building a solid network. Howard, thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you. Listen, it's an honor to be here, and I'm moderated by Claflin University, so shout out to Megan Rivers here. And it's glad to be here today. So today we want to have a great discussion. Can I get a good morning, everybody? Okay, so as a former teacher, I use the word check, and the check means you're paying attention. So when I say check, check. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to bring up a few people today. It's been a very exciting time getting to know people in the green room today. According to the McKinsey Institute for Black Economic Mobility, Black entrepreneurs may lack access to networks and relationships that can help them optimize their business decisions. Typically, we're over-mentored and underfunded. So today's event is going to be talking about the funding aspect for Black businesses to position themselves to grow. Many of you may be perplexed by this statement because Black people are connected to various networks. We have our communities, churches, HBCU, organizations, universities, and et cetera. However, we do not always have the connections to transfer those networks into resources. To put it in context, research on New York-based startups showed that founders who are mentored by top-performing entrepreneurs are 3 times more likely than their co-located peers without mentors become top performers themselves. Additionally, even strong personal credit, Black entrepreneurs struggle more than our white counterparts to secure capital to access credit. Today, we will discuss what resources and networks are available to us and identify ways to tap into them effectively. So let me take a moment to introduce our panelists because we have a lot to discuss in only an hour. First up, we have Mario Armstrong.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right. He's a Baltimore native, two-time Emmy Award winner, entrepreneur, speaker, and TV and podcast host. Creator and host of the Never Settle Show, Mario delivers motivation, tactical advice for creators and entrepreneurs to build their brands, monetize their passions, and build profitable businesses. His latest venture, the Never Settle Academy, provides creators and entrepreneurs with a blueprint for closing sales and getting paid brand sponsorships. He's the man. And his new podcast, Parents Making Profits, is available on the HubSpot podcast. While you can find Mario regularly on Mario on NBC's Today Show, NPR, Inside Edition, and more, we are fortunate to have him live and in person for the next honor. Join me in welcoming Mario Armstrong.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate y'all. Baltimore, what's up? Born and raised, what's up?
All right. Thank you for being here, sir. Next up, we have Ms. Janelle Merritt. She is the Chief Operating Officer of Public Sector Solutions Group, also known as PS2G. This world-class technical consulting firm provides software implementation and professional staffing services to government agencies. Apologize. Okay. Thank you. Janelle has over 20 years of Fortune 200 experience, having served as a major accounts executive at Canon. We are grateful to have Janelle bring her perspective to today's panel. As a fellow HBCU alum, I'm excited to get into the discussion about resources and network with my sister this morning. So good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and how's everybody doing? Let's try it again. How's everybody doing? Awesome.
All right. Well, I think the reason why everybody's enjoying this food, so shout out to the catering staff today for providing an amazing brunch for us today. All right.
Save us some.
Please do. So next up we have Hans Petit Home, my fellow Haitian brother, Vice President, Senior Business Consultant of Chase. With 20 years of experience in financial services, Hans supports small business owners of color in growing their businesses through accessible education, coaching, and banking solutions. He provides small business access to community resources, banking solutions, and business networking programs, which align to today's discussion. Hans, thank you so much for being here.
No, it's a pleasure. Looking forward to some wonderful time today.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. There we go. With this panel, I'm sure that today's participants will leave today with a clear roadmap to tap into their networks and access resources to realize their maximum potential. Last, but certainly not least, we have Sharif Small, CEO of SJS Financial Firm, LLC, a tax accounting and financial planning practice he started in 2005. He also has a nonprofit that he'll be speaking more about, which works with people giving access to housing in the area. 3 years later, Sharif created a nonprofit organization, Financial Empowerment Movement, to address financial inequities, providing financial education, access to resources, and pro bono financial planning services. Sharif empowers low-income families, communities of color, young people, and military veterans to make better financial decisions that result in financial success. Join me in welcoming Sharif.
Hallelujah this morning. Praise him. Amen. Sometimes you got to take it to church to allow you out, but thank you for this opportunity to come and speak.
You're welcome. So by the introduction, you can already see that these panelists are well plugged and positioned. So let's use the rest of our time together to delve into how to leverage their networks to access resources and identify opportunities for you to do the same. Sharif, let's start with you. Because financial literacy is such a fundamental part of the discussion, according to the U.S. 2018 Business Administration study, most entrepreneurs start their businesses using personal or family wealth. However, due to low personal wealth, Black entrepreneurs face barriers to accessing bank loans and other institutional capital resources, making them more likely to rely on personal credit cards to finance their businesses. What can we do in the community to build generational wealth on the short term and also long term, as we discussed in the green room?
Well, first, thank you for this opportunity to come and speak. So being a tax accountant and financial planner, the first thing I talk about is that you must have a financial plan. We don't fail to plan, but we just plan to fail, right? So you must have that financial plan in place. So where do you go and get that financial plan? So you have the Financial Planning Association of Maryland, right? You want to seek professional help. Have anybody ever heard of CIAA? Association of African American Financial Advisors? So these are professionals, right, that have gone through the education, have the experience that can sit down with you to put together a financial plan. So as we're here to talk about starting a business, I see a lot of people want to have a business plan to start a business, but we neglect to having a financial plan in place. So what does that financial plan look like, right? You got to have that plan in place. This is your foundation for your future. It is your roadmap, right? So in that plan, you got to have short-term goals, you got to have long-term goals. Your long-term goals, could be you want to be financially free, you want to be debt-free. Who want to be financially free, want to be debt-free? Both of your hands need to be up. You want to be financially free to be debt-free, but you got to have a plan in place to get you there, right? But then you got to, within that financial plan, the first thing you got to have goals. Your long-term goals, we talk about short-term goals. So that short-term goal first should be, you got to have a budget, right? Got to have that budget in place. You must live within your means. Principles, systems in place. You got to track where your money's going at so you can make the best decision for your family, right? So have you ever heard of mint.com, right? What are the budgeting tools that you're going to use? These are tools that you can use to keep track of your money. So you got mint.com, you got personal capital. Has anybody ever done a financial peace university with Dave Ramsey? I'm actually supposed to be teaching today right now, so I'm playing hooky, so forgive me, God, right? But they have an every dollar budget. So we're going to increase our earning power. We got to increase our learning power, right? We have to make sure we're doing that, but we got to make sure we're taking advantage of the resources that are out there. So you must have a budget so you can live within your means and make your sacrifices. There's something called delayed gratification, right? So if you sacrifice now, then you can get to that building that wealth in the future.
Yeah. And Sharif, as a follow-up question, as part of green room discussions, you recently endeavored with FedEx. How did you determine that was a good opportunity to build generational wealth for you?
So I'm a tax accountant, so I do bookkeeping for a lot of businesses, and that's another thing too for businesses. When I work with businesses, you got to make sure you have your books in order, QuickBooks, keep track of yourself. You're not going to be able to get access to capital if you can't show that you're a financial viable business. Profit loss statements, balance sheets, cash flow statements. You can't just use Excel spreadsheets. They want to see that's done by a professional, right? But what made me want to, I just bought a FedEx route business last Friday. Not only did I buy it, but I bought it from a gentleman that owned it for 20 years. He was 67 years old. He was a contractor. I bought it as 25 trucks, 22 employees, and 19 routes. I used SBA financing. But for me to be able to do something like that, I had to have my finances in order. I had to have a plan in order. All right. So for that financial, business, you got to have that business plan. That's very important and very key. When I have clients that have FedEx route businesses already, and I'm tracking the money, and I see how much they have coming in. FedEx pays weekly, and I saw the return on investment. It's around like 20-30% return on investment. So as me being, an accountant and having these clients that have FedEx route businesses, I saw there was a viable business to invest in. And by me doing that, I just put an offer in there, and I was able to put a plan in place to be able to buy. So be able to do that and also get into real estate. You see clients making all this money, and you have an opportunity to where you can diversify your portfolio as well. So.
Right. So acquisitions is a way to scale and also grow generational wealth. So acquisitions. Everybody say acquisitions. Acquisitions. Good job. So Hans, we all know that black people are innovative, correct?
Absolutely.
All right. Throughout our history, black Americans have owned businesses. According to the 2022 Brookings article, more than 3 million black-owned businesses in the U.S. generate $206 billion in annual revenue and support more than 3.5 million U.S. jobs. While that's a lot of companies, most of these businesses are sole proprietorships, which require much resources and support for sustainability. Based on the systemic inequalities and equities related to banking resources afforded to black people, how do you use your role to elevate small black-owned businesses and connect them with much-needed financial resources to help sustain and scale their companies?
I think first off is we know the history of minority entrepreneurs. And with that history, there's one word I always bring up and speak to these individuals is trust, right? Every single business owner lacks trust in the financial institutions. And that's because of our history when it comes to supporting and being able to work with individuals. So trust for me is major. And what I teach them is you can't do it all by yourself. There's resources available, and free is a great word, right? So if we say there's resources available that's for free, don't assume there's a cash behind it, right? It's free resources. So we work on building the trust, developing the culture, and teaching them that don't do it alone. Let us help you. Let your neighbors help you. Let the community support you. Because as many business owners do, they'll grow a wonderful business, but they can't scale. They can't scale because they lack the trust again to reach out to others in their industry and say, hey, you're doing X, I'm doing Y. Can we combine our resources to grow to a different level? So if you're a business owner, I highly encourage you to trust your fellow business owners.
So Hans, can we keep it real today?
Absolutely.
Okay, so there's a lot of opportunities out on the streets and in the marketplace, but a lot of that deals with us trusting one another. So when we talk about trusting, not just the funder, let's talk about trusting each other to do business together, because small businesses scale if they maximize their relationships, correct? So can you talk about ways that we can kind of instill or develop trust between business to business as we go out these larger opportunities?
The crab in the barrel mentality has to get away from our communities, right? We can't look at our fellow business person and say, that's my competitor. No, that is your support system. I speak to a lot of restaurant owners. I love to eat, so I'm always in a restaurant somewhere in Baltimore, right? And here's a takeaway. If you know your fellow neighbor also has the same restaurant, you guys are buying from the same vendor, same supplies, why not combine resources and buy in bulk, therefore lowering your overall spending costs? If you are in marketing, why not tag team with another marketing institution and combine resources so now you're able to go after larger projects? Larger projects, more hiring, more staff, more money, and more what? Support for the communities. Right? So I live by the notion that if a dollar comes into your community, let it circulate 2 or 3 times before it goes out the door. That's right. That's how you're going to build long-term generational wealth.
Right. And also, just to kind of close that out, it's a lot of joint ventures and mergers, acquisitions, and they all start with a contract. So if you put it on paper and you both are binded to that, then that helps to kind of ease you all into doing the business deal together. So think about how we approach our contract tracks. The next question is for you, Hans, and also Sharif. Based on your experience, what should early entrepreneurs do who do not have the strongest credit? What are some strategies that they can take on in order to be more appealing to financial institutions, if you will?
Yeah, I can start out with that. If you don't have good credit, it really depends on how strong your financial and how strong your business plan is. So if I'm looking to get access to capital from a bank, they want to see that financial plan, they want to see that business plan, and what does it look like within the next 5 to 10 years. What I would say is with credit, don't use your personal credit to try to build your business. I've seen that happen all too often, and I actually wind up hurting your credit as well as happening. How do we build personal credit? So one of the things I will talk about how we build personal credit, number one, you got to check it. You got to stay on top of it. Because if you're not checking it, somebody else is, it's called fraud, right? So there's something called, not Mint.com, but what's the other app? Experian. So Experian has a free app that is free that you can check your credit for free at any time. So you can download the Experian credit app that you can check for free at any time. And I highly recommend you have to check your credit from a regular basis, from a daily to a weekly basis. And you got to stay on top of that. Now, I also recommend we have to start having family meetings together with our families, right?
Check.
We have to start doing that. So like with me and my wife, we have monthly meetings. Who's the CEO and who's the CFO and who's the CEO of your person and of your business? Me and my wife is the CEO. I'm the CFO. She's the CEO. She runs the household, right? So we have goals, have dreams together. But then how do you bring your family and friends together? And then how do we do business together? How can we collectively have a plan together? How we can collectively put some savings together, open up a bank, put some money together, and then put roles and responsibilities where we can actually buy real estate. We can actually buy business together. What I always tell people, there's money out here. The key question is how you gonna go get it. I bought a 12-unit apartment complex during COVID, right? So I got 80% of finance through the bank, and I put down some money, but then I raised the other money. I did a real estate syndication where I raised the other 15, 20%, right? I gave them a rate of return, and they have ownership in it, right? And we are investing into this, not only into the building, but we're investing to the people, right? So we're investing together. We have other entrepreneurs, because when you start a business, you don't have to always have a business and start yourself. Like, you can just be an investor and get a rate of return, right? Because what I found with some people, they want to get into real estate, but they don't want to deal with tenants and toilets. If they, they don't want to deal with, but they want to invest into it, right? So there's other ways where you can pull pots of money together, and they could be a limited partner, you could be a general partner.
Right, thank you.
To piggyback off that, it goes back to your support system, right? Don't do it alone. If you know your credit is shoddy from past experiences, that's okay. It's not the end of the world. What you want to do is partner with someone who has what? Stronger credit, right? And you may have to give up a portion of your ownership in the beginning, but that's okay, because 100% of zero is still zero, right? So if you partner with someone with a strong credit and you work as a team and develop a game plan. I still speak to clients in the millions of dollars in revenue, and I tell them, and they have business plans. A business plan is what? Direction and a course of where you're going. So as if you're thinking about business, focus on the mission of the business, have a vision for the business, and have a purpose to really build long-term legacy.
Right. So Mario, I'm gonna jump to you, Mario. So while resources are critical, we know that without a clear vision on how to identify and target your audience, establish your brand, and build your network, you're destined to fail. For years, you've been coaching creators and entrepreneurs on ways to build their brands, monetize their passions, and build profitable businesses. Could you give us your secret sauce, real quick?
Yeah, I would say it's three things. Number one, access different capital. A lot of people are looking at the same capital sources all the time. We're looking at VC investment, we're looking at loans, we're looking at family and friends, and we're looking at personal credit. What we did in our business, and we were able to raise $4 million, is brand sponsorships. And brand sponsorships is the understanding of how to package oneself and their idea to corporations. And when you understand how to package your idea to a corporation, it can be a concept. You can take the same business plan and sell a concept that can get a partner from a marketing agency or from a brand. But a lot of people don't understand that there are 6 different divisions within a corporate brand where you can access funds. So you got the marketing side of the business. Think of a company that you would love to target, that you think is in alignment with your customers or in alignment with what it is that you do or your passion or your purpose. Think of those brands. Once you think of the brands, I guarantee you the larger brands have 6 different divisions where you could potentially access money. 1 is straight up from the marketing team. 2 could be from the social department, social media. 3 could be from PR. 4 could be from corporate social responsibility, the CSR. When we did our deal with Capital One, we didn't get money from marketing. We got money from CSR because we were shooting storytelling. We were shooting stories that were telling great stories about things that were happening amongst people of color that were entrepreneurs. And their corporate social responsibility team said, we want to support that because it's a good thing for us to give money to things that are doing well, and we want to be positioned with that. So now we get the alignment with Capital One. We look gravy because now we can use that association to go and get other deals. Because if Capital One is invested in us, why won't Dell invest in us? Why won't Wix invest in us? Why didn't Zenni, the eyewear company? I'm wearing a brand deal right now, a multi-year brand deal with Zenni Eyewear. I wear these and mention Zenni for 2 years with a great deal just for this type of purpose, because they know I public speak, they know I'm on TV, they know I'm on video. So these are brand deals that you can do to position yourself. And the beautiful thing about brand deals is you don't have to pay the money back. You just have to execute on the idea. Marketers are taking risks every single day. Your job is to convince them that you're a good risk to take. So brand sponsorships is a totally overlooked and underutilized and underexposed because we just don't know. We don't have enough people that are doing it, sharing that. So therefore we go into the traditional means of trying to get access to capital. And I just think that accessing this is a different capital. Secondly, I would say we need to borrow other people's customers. So OPP, if you're starting fresh or you're early stage, the biggest risk that you have right now is not getting the word out. But then you don't have the marketing budget to be able to support getting the word out. So now you feel stuck. So then what you have to do is do what they said, collaborate with other people. So if you're a coffee shop, why aren't you collaborating with the bagel shop? Y'all don't do this, y'all do different products, but you all could be collaborating together for each other's customers. You could be jumping onto their newsletter list, they could be jumping onto your newsletter list. And then the third thing that I would say is you gotta accelerate trust. And Sharif mentioned, yeah, Hans mentioned this, thank you. Accelerating trust. To me, the fastest way to accelerate trust is video. Because if a picture says 1,000 words, video says 1,000,000. And so what do I mean by that? Video sales letters. I do not send emails in text anymore. What I do is I use dub.com, and there are other tools that you can use, dubb.com, and then I do a video talking about what it is that I'm positioning or putting out there into the marketplace, whatever that is. Could be a partnership, could be a collaboration. We just did a deal with Entrepreneur TV for their new network, for our TV show. I sent them a pitch via video. In the video, you get to control the narrative, and you get to show your expertise. You get to show B-roll and footage of things that you've done, clients you've worked with, testimonials that you may have. You get to prove your trust by accelerating, showing yourself in video. That accelerates what everything that you're saying you can do is now backed up by what they're actually looking at. So I send a 2-minute video sales letter. I don't any longer send text messages, text emails, because the minute they get that, they're gonna click it. My conversions, by the way, are higher. They're about 30 to 40% higher on the open rate for opportunities. These are cold calls. I'm just straight using the tools that are available to package myself and my ideas in a way that's convincing to get access to capital, partnerships, and collaborations in unique ways.
Wow, thank you. So I want to go back to that question. So when it comes to social media, talk about how you've used that to grow your brand, but also why is it imperative that every Black-owned brand have a social media network, a social media strategy?
And that's a great question. And to me, it's not that you should be imperative on having social media. It should be imperative on having the right social media. Because what happens is when we chase technology for technology's sake, you start thinking that the metrics are, I got to get a lot of followers. No, you don't. You need to have an engaged audience. So it's more important. Are you going to be better on LinkedIn? Are you more B2B? If you're more B2B, you got no business being on TikTok. Technically, you could, but you should be on LinkedIn. Hard, heavy. But if you are if you know Instagram well and you know that you're creating content and you have stuff to show behind the scenes, you got videos you could be doing and producing, all of that builds the trust. If you're not using social as your resume of proof, nobody knows what you're working on. So you have to use that. When we're looking to do deals, we're looking at people's social status to see what they're doing. I'm not looking at the following count. I'm looking at the potential. Are you showing me that you're a great baker? Are you showing me that you're doing a deal with Whole Foods? Are you showing me that you're a logistics company and you're out there working with the truck? Are you showing me these things? So you got to use the social as your proof of potential, and that will help to build your brand. But just be careful that you don't fall into the path of thinking that social is going to get you business. Sales gets you business. And the underlying thing with all of this is that we got a bunch of shiny objects that we get taught or told that we should do, and at the end of the day, none of that matters if we don't make a sale. So if you don't know how to sell first, work on that before you work on social.
Right. That's good. Let's clap it up. I think that's worth clap. Thank you. So Janelle, as a government contractor and consultant, my question for you focuses on advice for government contractors. You ready?
I am.
Okay, great. So your company provides much needed resources to government agencies. How can small Black-owned businesses secure comparable resources to ensure efficiency and proficiency with the customers? And then the follow-up question, we'll talk about the value of Black-owned businesses to the overall industry.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me. First, let me say one of the most important things. Small businesses are the backbone of this economy. They always have been. They will continue to be the backbone of this economy. You can clap now. The reason being is because small businesses change lives every day. What do? We employ people. We change how people walk. We change how people talk. We change how people are able to put food on the table. And so what we have to do is understand our power. I am the COO of an IT consulting firm, And we actually provide systems integration and professional services, but it's our responsibility to coach and mentor every employee that walks in that door for retention so that our clients have the best and the brightest. And let's be clear, the large companies come to the small companies to get their employees. The clients may or may not know. But that's very important. So what we have decided to do was invest and grow our own talent. And that's another thing that small businesses should focus on. Besides making sure that you own the client, grow your talent. So we actually have an academy, and we are teaching people and providing certifications for free in cybersecurity, cloud enablement, and testing. I want to go back to the question that my fellow...
I'm sorry, you said free?
It is free.
Did y'all hear that? Can you say it again, what you're giving for free to the community?
Cybersecurity classes. It's a 12-week class. It's in the campus of Walter Reed, the old campus of Walter Reed, and it's called the Walter Reed Infrastructure Academy. Cybersecurity courses, cloud enablement, taught by AWS, as well as testing. Yes?
Check. All right, check.
So it's important that we have the best and the brightest. And the value that we bring is those large companies know what type of hunters we are. We don't have these large names on our backs. We can't make mistakes. Failure is not an option. And so when people come to small and local firms, they actually know and understand in a small and local firm, you actually don't have large departments of a finance department with 12 people or an HR department with 23 people and everybody is doing the same thing. You're wearing multiple hats. So that worker that you're getting, they actually came to work. And so that's very important.
And then next, when it comes to growing your own, what is the importance of having methodologies and practices in place for small businesses?
It's key because I want to bring it to this point. So when people graduate from college or they're looking to make a career choice, they're looking at like the top 10, the big 8 firms or Fortune 100 companies. Well, guess what? I used to work with one of the big Fortune 100 companies, but that was one company. When I went to PS2G 15 years ago, I worked with all of the Fortune 100 companies. In one morning, I can have a conversation with Deloitte, Accenture, Canon, AWS within a 4-hour period. And they come to us because the firm somewhat looks like their firm. As long as you have an alignment, you've got a finance department, you've got an HR department, you're able to bill. That's important. Also with a local firm, there's more growth opportunity. There's more growth potential. Smaller firms can turn on a dime. You don't have layers of decision makers and weeks and months before you actually can get an answer. And potential for advancement is huge. It's absolutely huge. So I want to simply say it's important, yes, to have the funding, yes, to have good credit, but own the customer. Go get a customer. Get up in the morning and find a customer. And then after you find that customer, find another one while you are building your credit and you are applying for those loans. Because when you have a customer, you own everything.
Point. So as we kind of get into the questions, I want to talk about networking. And we're here to network today, right? Check. Check. So as we talk about networking, I want to share some anecdotes about why you should join your local chamber or your local business organization. And I use myself as an example. I joined the Greater Washington Black Chamber, helped to found the organization about 4 years ago, and I became the events chair. and hosting events through the chamber, I've been able to attract an incredible amount of businesses, but also add value to the community. So as we talk about networking, also think about how can you add value to the community, and in the same way, when you add value, you become a go-to person, correct? Check?
Check.
So as we go into these next questions, I want to talk about the networking that you all have in organizations, and how have you leveraged your personal memberships to grow your network and grow your business. So Armstrong, you are a big brander, you're a marketer. What network are you a part of, and how have you leveraged that network to grow your business?
Great question. So if you don't mind, I'm not going to mention a particular network because there's so many different ones to mention. I think what I'm going to talk about is how I try to move inside of those networks and maybe hopefully share some steps that can help others.
That's great.
So for example, let's take this particular scenario that we're in right now. If I was coming to this event and I was going to be an attendee to this event and I don't know anybody that's going to be here, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm looking at who's speaking. This is pre-coming to this event. So I'm online, I'm searching, I'm looking at who's speaking. And then I'm going into LinkedIn, I'm looking at them in LinkedIn. Then I'm going into their social media, I'm looking at them on social. I'm looking to see what they're talking about and what's important to them and what's a priority. And then I'm making a note based off of that. Oh, I need to get in front of Sharif. How am I going to get 30 seconds of FaceTime with Sharif? I see what he's doing, I need to get in front of that guy while he's here. Okay, so that's one person, check. I got his picture, I know exactly who he is, I know where he's going to be. Then who's next? And so I'm doing that. Then I'm looking if there's an opportunity for me to figure out who are the attendees, because sometimes you have apps and things of that nature with conferences, and you can have the attendees register. Then I'm looking at the attendees. But then I'm also checking social. I'm looking to see, oh, who's talking about being at the CIAA? So now I'm checking the hashtag of hashtag CIAA. And then I'm checking in Twitter to kind of see, oh, who in entrepreneurship is going to be at CIAA? So then I'm looking at these things to try to give me an indication of who's going to be there and who's what. But then I'm thinking about, okay, what's my mission when I arrive? Like, everybody's got a personal agenda. The problem is we try to hide it. We try to fake it. Oh, how you doing? Oh, yeah, the weather's been great. No, let's just get right to it. I know you want something. Let's go. Yeah. Like, let's go. You don't have to hide that. Like, we feel shame, and we shouldn't feel shame from that. You're ambitious. You got a beautiful idea. You got statistics. You got metrics. You got a passion. You got something you believe in. You already left the dream killers because they ain't here. So what we doing? Tell me what it is. What's on your agenda? And so I'm preparing for what's on my agenda. How can I say in 30 seconds or less what it is I'm looking to do, who I'm trying to work with, where I'm going? Can you help me? And by the way, I don't like to use the word help. Can you accelerate me? Do not use the word help anymore, please, people. Y'all don't need help. Y'all are already resilient. We already black people. We already know how to get it done. We don't need help. We need acceleration. We need verbs. We need verbs from my people. So that's what I'm doing to prepare for a networking opportunity. And then the last step is, on my phone, I have albums that are already organized in my camera roll with different pieces of information. So if I need to prove to you that I got testimonials, I pull up the testimonial album and I let you watch 3 videos of customers. If I need to show you a pilot of a TV show that we're already working on and the statistics and the survey and the metrics behind it, I pull up my video demo reel folder. So in my phone, you will never catch me anywhere relying on the internet to show you something on YouTube that ain't gonna be able to come down. You got seconds with people. And when you do that on your phone and you show them your portfolio, you've just done something someone else that just got their ear didn't do. And so it's more believable as well. So that's how I network and try to move in circles like this.
It's also important, I think what you said was key. Ask. So we actually do a great job of meeting and having a beverage, but whether it is a sorority meeting, whether it's alumni association, you know what? People buy from people, okay? And then when you think about it, we're all doing the same thing, trying to put one foot in front of the other. But we have lost the art of asking or accelerating. How can you accelerate me? And so it's very important that when you do get in front of someone, talk about what you have and then go straight to that question, because I guarantee you they also trying to figure out how you can accelerate them as well.
That's right.
It's a double standard.
That's right, that's right. So right now we're going to take some questions for the audience. I think we have volunteers with the purple jackets for the microphones. Any questions from the audience? So we have a person, raise your hand with the microphone, please. Right here, and we have a microphone here. Any questions?
Yeah, can I add to what you were just talking about with the networking? Can I add to that for a second? Sure. So I think I also start with industry that you're in. So me being in accounting, I joined NABA. You might be familiar with NABA, National Association of Black Accountants. So when I was at Towson, they didn't have a chapter. So what do you think I did? I created a chapter. I founded a chapter there. Because there were scholarships, internships, mentorships that people that looked like me was not taking advantage of. So now I have students there now that are getting these scholarships, internships. They're getting the jobs at Deloitte, at PNC, right? They're getting these things. And I'm also hiring them as well, right? So now I'm building a pipeline. I also joined Quad A, as I mentioned before. So me being on the financial planning side and being on the accounting side, financial planning people refer me accounting clients, accounting clients refer me financial planning clients, right? Then you're able to build your brand. You're able to leverage that. I think when we join, organizations, we look at what is it going to do for me. No, what are you going to add and give to that organization? You can build your brand and you can build your purpose. Because at the end of the day, people as businesses, they want to see if you're going to solve their problems, right? That's really what it comes down to. You're in the problem-solving business. And I can add one thing on top of that. I know a lot of you are probably home-based businesses, well, I think it's great. We can't just own businesses. We got own buildings of the businesses as well, too, right? That's where the true equity is at. The equity is in the business that you're building, but it's also in the building that you own as well, too. One of the things you can think about doing is, in a couple of years, when you're looking to get office space, buy your building. SBA financing. You can buy a mixed-use building, right? Anybody know what a mixed-use building is? A storefront on the first floor, apartment on the second floor. SBA financing, finance up to 90% of it. You only got to put down 10%. Why you want to do this? Because you can rent out that second floor. As long as you occupy 51%, 49%, that actually will pay your mortgage and more, right? So now you got equity. You can refinance, support it out, and use it to buy other things.
We are nationwide, and we own every building that we operate out of.
Woo! I'm sorry. I'm excited. It was wonderful. So we're going to give you a bonus question. Sorry, a question?
Is it on? Oh, excellent.
Go ahead.
Yes, this question is actually from Sharif. Good morning, everybody. I'm Brandon. My question is, how can someone stay on track and be held accountable to their budget through the transitions of life? And I have a follow-up one, which is, in your practice that you built, what are some of the best practices that you've had with clients to hold them accountable to that?
Well, one of the things I say with businesses, you got to have a bail team. You know what a bail team is? Your banker, your accountant, insurance, and lawyer. So you got to have a team of resources. So you started your business by yourself, but you didn't start the business for yourself, right? So you got to have a team of people and resources that's going to hold you accountable. So it's seeking professional help. So having that business coach, right, that can sit down with you and reviewing your business plan, your financial plan, having that accountant sitting down with you, looking at your finances for every 3 to 6 months. What we have to stop thinking about is we focus on working in our business and we're not working on our business. That's the big thing that we don't do. So you may take one day a week where you're talking to your accountant, you're talking to your insurance guy, and making sure that you're doing check-ins and making sure that your business is actually doing well. Because you can have sales coming in all you want, but you can have more expenses than sales coming in, and you're not having a profit, you're having a loss. And then when COVID hits, it gets even worse. So you gotta make sure that you're having the professional resources that are around, that bail team, that can keep you in check and making sure that you're achieving your goals and your objectives.
Thank you. So Hans, I have a question regarding the funding that you all have in support. What are some resources that your organization has to small businesses they can utilize and research today so they can start their business tomorrow or accelerate what they're doing?
Yeah, one thing that we have is the Small Business Minority Program. Again, it's free. We provide one-on-one coaching for minority businesses on 5 core platforms. 1, advanced access to capital, at navigating cash flow, business operations, business development, and building a team of advisors. So if you do go to the booth over there, you can scan our QR code, you can register and get free information, to help you grow one-on-one to support your business. So we come down to wherever you are and we help you rise to the next level.
All right. So Janelle and Mario, and this is for you too. So as it relates to pitching or positioning your first large contract, can you talk about the trepidation or the sensibilities you had to get through when you put that big number on the paper for the first time? Because as an entrepreneur myself, the first time I wrote my first $1 million contract, I was scared. I was like, man, is this too much? So as we talk about black businesses accelerating and going to these spaces, Janelle and then Mario, speak on the confidence and also the efficacy that it takes to position yourself on paper for that big number?
I absolutely love that question because we actually learned by making mistakes. So when you own your own business, sometimes you're subbing, sometimes you're priming, but a lot of times you get in by subbing first. And actually, after seeing how the expenses kind of kept creeping up above that revenue line, it really makes you look at those numbers. And then also, let's go to this point. Sometimes the client kind of assumes, well, you can eat the cost. No, you can't. So I say that I learned the hard way, all money is not good money. And one of my favorite sayings is that, why should I settle for crumbs when everybody else is eating the full meal?
Amen. Say it again, please. Say it again. Say it again, please. Preach it.
Why should I settle for crumbs when everybody else is eating the whole meal? So I think Mario kind of mentioned this earlier. You got to do your homework. So when you are looking at that particular client, the government agencies or the commercial entities that you are working with, try to look at what their contract amounts are. Because a lot of times we're too eager to get in, and eager will make you hungry and see red. And so what you have to do is realize, you know what? I've got expenses just like the large companies do. Go on and put that number down and stand tall.
To me, the worst thing is when you're trying to understand and negotiate your value, the worst thing that happens is you end up getting the deal. When you get the deal, the very first question that many of you go is, damn, that was too easy. I should have went higher.
There you go.
Am I lying?
You're not lying.
Am I lying? We've all experienced that. Like, damn, I knew I should have put another
10%, 15%
right?
on top
Exactly.
of it. Yeah.
So it's better to not get the deal, in my opinion, than it is to get the deal that's more profitable. So if you're putting out your time and your energy anyway, and you're understanding your P&L statement, and you're getting to your net profits, and you understand exactly what you got to do for your expenses, then what you need to do is take a cold shower to make sure that you aren't second guessing yourself. There is no room for self-doubt in entrepreneurship.
That's it. That's it.
And so, you know, I see this all the time with our students in the Never Settle Academy, neversettleacademy.com. All our people there, they come with this mindset of they really know their work and they really know what they're doing, but then when it comes to the ask, they really bring it down because of the desperation that Janelle pointed to. And so my last word on this is, desperation is not in your destiny. But if you allow desperation to seep in, it will destroy your destiny. Because we can feel that, and the people on the other side can feel that. And the last thing is, too often when we price too low, we've just priced ourselves out of the opportunity because it's too low. They actually would have spent the money that you thought about charging, but you went lower, and now you didn't even get the deal, and now they're looking at you as somebody that's lesser than.
Do your homework. Don't be writing in the sky. Do your homework. Look at past performance.
Yeah. That's great. And past performance, for those that don't know, is actually the resume or the track record that the firm or your competitor has. We have two questions from the audience. We're going to start with this gentleman here.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Great.
My question, I guess, is for Hans and Sharif. So I'm a small business owner. My wife and I, we have several rental properties. We pretty much do everything from the ground up, renovate the homes, get them rented, and so on and so forth. When it comes time to do our taxes, we're always claiming all these write-offs that we have throughout the year and that's my question. So when I'm trying to get a loan, what are some of the things that I can do to offset that to make me get better on paper when I'm trying to get another mortgage?
I'll give it to you. Okay. Speak to your CPA.
So one thing, so I understand we want to write off everything, that's great, we get a good refund, but you know, that scares lenders. And in that lender, it scares the underwriter, right? So my twin worked for a bank for 20 years, so he used to tell me what they like and what they don't like. I would recommend you should think about possibly becoming like an S-Corp, right? And put yourself on payroll, right? Okay. So you can show that W-2 income, right? So I highly recommend that's something you should take now. To become an S-Corp, there's a form called a 2553 form. You can really fill it out yourself. You fill it out online, submit it to the IRS, you can fax it to them. But you need to work with an accountant. You need to have QuickBooks to put yourself on payroll because you only need QuickBooks and the bookkeeping and a payroll software to put yourself on payroll. But I highly recommend that you become an S corp. And also, you're going to save on self-employment taxes too when you become an S corp. Now, do you have kids?
No.
Okay, so another thing you can think about in the future, because we got to build family wealth, right? So the first person you should think about is hiring yourself and maybe put your wife on there. The third thing, if you have kids, put your kids on payroll. Why you want to think about putting your kids on payroll? Instead of paying them allowances, pay them wages and it's tax deductible to the business. And the earliest you can put your kids on payroll is 7, not 14. 14 means that you need work permit. They're not related to you, but if they are related to your kids, grandkids, you can actually put them on payroll. There's duties that you can do, that they can do and put them on payroll. Pay them up to $12,950. You can still claim on your tax returns. Take that $12,000, put $6,000 in a Roth IRA, right? And then now that money's working for them. So when they get to age 18, they got money for college. They know they get college. They got first $10,000 on the payment on a house, or they do both. And then on top of it, they could buy a 4-unit apartment complex. So y'all could buy that together, and you could be written that out because by that junior year, they got an internship. You got income, they got income, and now you have cash flow coming in and capital. Now you turn the active income into passive income. You follow what I'm saying?
Bars.
So we gotta think that way, generationally.
Bars. Bars.
And just to give you one more tip on that, when it comes to cash flow, and this is for all businesses, it's simple. If you borrow $1 from the bank, all you're making $1.25 to run your business and pay them back. So when you write off so many expenses, you had a negative cash for the end of the year. So that when you go to the banks for financing, they say, you know what, not right now. And that's when you go back to your team and say, hey, we have to strategize and replan for future opportunities.
So now, okay, aside from having kids and waiting to become juniors in high school and all that, in the next couple of years, aside from writing off less and showing more income, I currently show income.
You really have to write off less. Just put yourself on W-2 and pay yourself at least about 30% of the revenue that you're coming in. And you need to strategize with your accountant, how much income you need to show on a W-2, and you need to be working with the lender as well too. So you talk with the lender, they will tell you how much you need to have in income, then put yourself on payroll. And then another thing, you need to just take my contact information and we need to just talk.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Thank you.
I got you.
Do we have any more questions?
Good morning. My question is, so as you grow and you grow relationships and you broker deals, some of it can be based on like what you have on paper,
Can't hear.
Sorry. As you are growing, as you continue to grow, and as you are making deals, brokering relationships, how many of the deals in your guys' experience have been based on my business does X, Y, and Z, this would benefit your business in these ways, and how much have been building relationships? So I hear about these backroom deals. Hey, we met at this thing. I know this person. We met at this golf, blah, 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 blah. And that sort of gave someone a leg in. So I feel like there's a mix between I knew someone, we develop a relationship, and that got me in the door business-wise, and then there's my business does X, Y, and Z. It could produce this for you. So I'm wondering for you guys, what mix has that been for you as you're growing?
So I personally think it depends on your offering, right? So if you're talking about, modernizing an unemployment insurance platform for the state, that's a different level. That's above people's heads. That's not a sales rep offering. If you're talking about reselling office devices, then it is your offering, and then it's also relationship. Because if you think about it, and I guess it comes to what the competition is. So if there are a number of companies that sell the office devices, then it is relationship because they can buy it from anybody. But when you're talking about multi-trillion dollars, that's more so being done on a different level.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can talk to you afterwards about, because that's business development, and we talk about business development is something that we don't invest enough time in. As we wrap up, I want to have my panelists get their social media handles and their websites so we can contact them. So we'll start with Mario.
So you can follow me at Mario Armstrong on Instagram or anywhere, so LinkedIn, whatever. I'm in the DMs, so if you want to talk to me, at Mario Armstrong on Instagram. NeverSettleAcademy.com is the website. And last word that I would say is, please, y'all, ask people for 11 minutes of time. Stop asking people for an hour at a time. Only ask for 11 minutes. Get it done, because that'll get you in. It's something different. It catches their attention, and they'll actually want to meet with you. And then that builds trust for you to have a different meeting at a later date at another time. So when you roll up on Sharif, you don't have to have 60 minutes of Sharif's time. You need 11 minutes, just 11 minutes, and he'll probably say more likely to say yes. Sorry to put that pressure on you.
No, I'll take that. All right. So website, SGS, www.SGS Financial Firm. You can just Google my first and last name, all my handle come up, so Sharif J. Small. Quick question, dream, plan, save, invest, and give. That's the 5 top things of building generational. Dream, plan, save, invest, and the most important, give. The blessing is more in the giving than the receiving.
And you can look me up on LinkedIn, Hans Petit Home. I'm the only Hans Petit Home on LinkedIn and all social media. So look me up. I have an open door policy. Any questions, just reach out.
You can reach me on LinkedIn under Janelle Merritt, and the company under DigiDoc, doing business as Public Sector Solutions Group. And make sure you take advantage of all of this wealth that's in the room. I guarantee you, by talking to 2 people, you will be further ahead, because they know 2 other people that can elevate you.
Yeah. On behalf of the CIAA and Visit Baltimore, I would like to extend my sincere appreciation to all panelists and participants for contributing to this necessary conversation. Our information is Black Meta Agency. We're online. My Instagram is Howard Arjan. And I'd like to end on this. For me, as an entrepreneur, it's all about persevering and getting through those tough times. And I kind of go through a famous poet laureate by the name of Sean Carter, Jay-Z. He talks about, I had a dream, I said, about Big, I said, that's Big, he said. Hope, I said, mind yourself. Nobody built like you. You designed yourself. I agree, I said, my one-of-a-kind self gets stoned every day like Jesus did. What I said, he said, has been said before. Just keep doing your thing, he said. Say no more. Thank you.